Hello and welcome to Thunder on the Mississippi, the first in a series of videos on the newest title from the great campaigns of the American Civil War. We hope you are looking forward to this as much as we are, and as we do each and every time, we're going to go through about 20 minutes of prattle here. I'm going to introduce myself, Roger's going to introduce himself, and we're going to tell you a little bit about this newest title from Joe Balkowski and Chris Withers. If you want to skip ahead, if you are familiar with our style and our play and all that good stuff about us, well, you could see where we actually start the game if you want to skip ahead. But if you just want a refresher on who we are, allow us to take a few minutes to engage with you and say hello. I'm going to let my esteemed partner Roger introduce himself first. So, Roger, welcome to the new show.
Glad to be here. I think people are really going to enjoy this title. I certainly have enjoyed it a great deal. But yeah, I was born in a farm in small town Iowa, and when it comes to my gaming experience, I was taught to play chess by my dad very young. I don't remember not knowing how to play chess. We had some other classic board games around the house, Monopoly, Clue, but I got a war game when I was about 10 or 11. I was interested in history. I was in a local five and dime store and I saw Africa Corps, Avalon Hill's classic game. Why that store owner would have had Africa Corps in his store, I have no idea. But I asked for it for Christmas. My mom remembered and she got it for Christmas. And I played my oldest brother. I have four other brothers. And a couple of years after that, I got Richthofen's War, again, a classic Avalon Hill era game, World War One. Played that mostly by myself. My brother went to college. I was either not brave enough or smart enough to not say I had these games. I never went to school with the games and said, oh, here, let's play this. Went to college, didn't do any real war gaming at all. Wasn't until I was a bachelor, I came here to Knoxville, Tennessee, which is where I live, and went in a local mall, which had a game store, and walked in and saw the Civil War. And that was my primary interest at that time when it came to history. And by Victory Games, another classic game, bought that and played that as a bachelor and got married. And my wife and I would take long trips to the beach and I would take that game. And one year I forgot. And down in Charleston, went into a game store and saw Roads to Gettysburg. Great campaigns, mid 90s. Bought that and that became my go to the beach game. And then my wife got me the original Stonewall Jackson's Way. Things happened, got away from it, stopped playing. And I'm like, I used to say, Patrick, when we did these, well, last year, now I have to say, in 2019, I was watching some YouTube videos, probably documentaries on the Civil War, and your tutorial video, one of yours, popped up on the recommended playlist. And I said, well, what's that? I viewed it and just was able to set the game back up again, got involved. This is just before COVID. Ken Lee organized an online multiplayer, and I discovered Facebook, discovered board game, discovered all that stuff. And he did this through the Facebook group, and he invited anybody to come in and watch. And I was like, I finally got in. It took me like, well, what's Vassal? Downloaded it, installed it. I think they did Skype for audio back then. And my wife encouraged me, said, you need to play somebody this. And this looks like a way you can do it. And I posted on the Facebook group, will somebody teach me? And you responded. And here we are. I don't know how many. I hope you, if you want to talk about the stats, I'll let you talk about the stats. I don't know how many games we've played now, but it's been quite a journey and I know we probably haven't even played 50% of the scenarios yet, but we've been playing now for, by my count, 4 years. And I've gotten more games since then, different systems. And I've retired. And for Thunder on the Mississippi, I actually volunteered, and Chris and Withers and Joe Balkowski did bring me into the playtesting group, and I got to playtest the basic games and got to do a lot of the review on the materials. And I really think people are gonna, if they haven't already got this is another variation on a system that I really enjoy as I've gotten into more gaming. And the flexibility of the system to me is just incredible. And I can't say enough about Thunder on the Mississippi. I think you're really going to enjoy it. So that's my spiel.
Fantastic. Well, yes, as of the time of recording this, we are now 4.5 years removed, and we have gone through. I will rattle off the litany of series games that we have played thus far in just a little bit. But yeah, I'm quite fortunate to have found a regular opponent in this. It's been my pleasure not only to show you the ropes of Vassal, but also to refresh your abilities and your skills with the Great Campaign series. And I always kid, but I mean, there's a certain large element of truth from those people who watch these videos that the student has become the master. And I do believe in many ways
That's the case.
there are aspects of this game that you grok far deeper than I do. So it's just been a pleasure, and I look forward to the other 50% of games. And the problem is they keep putting out more titles as we go through, so we got to keep up. But let me introduce myself. My name is Patrick. This is the namesake of the channel, Patrick's Tactics. Hello. I started this during COVID. It was an opportunity for me to share. As Roger said, I had done those tutorial videos for Great Campaigns just on a lark back in 2013. And as we approached the 7 year mark and Ken Lee was looking for online play, I said, well, I've got access to this screen capture software. Wouldn't it be fun? Because people are out there during COVID watching marble racing. They're stuck at home. Maybe they'll want to watch multiplayer Great Campaigns to learn a little bit, to hone their skills, or at least to just live vicariously through other players. So I did. We started doing that, and Roger just came along at the absolute perfect time. Literally within weeks of us doing that and putting a few videos out, he had asked to do that, and I, of course, had the light bulb to use this as an opportunity to play some of these and to show people real world examples of play styles and how the different scenarios worked. We started with Stonewall Jackson's Way because that was a really good refresher. It's an excellent starting point. People always ask me, where do I start? There are lots of good places to start, but why not start at the very beginning with Stonewall Jackson's Way, now Stonewall Jackson's Way 2? It's got two modules in there, and it's a very exciting setup for that. It's Second Manassas. It leads you right into the next title, which is Here Come the Rebels. That is my favorite title. People always ask that too. I love the Maryland campaign. Antietam is one of my favorite battles. That's on my bucket list. Most of you watching this are like, I've been to Antietam 26 times. And we are literally 2 days removed from the Battle of Antietam or Sharpsburg, depending on your point of view. So that is one of the ones that I do want to see firsthand. So we've been doing this for quite a while, and we have gone through a significant number of titles. We've done Stonewall Jackson's Way and All Grain Alike bundled together. We did Here Come the Rebels. We did, at the time that it was just being re-released, On to Richmond 2. So we did the On to Richmond basic scenarios. We have not done the campaign for that. We did Hood Strikes North as it came out. We have circled back and done Grant Takes Command. We just completed our big playthrough of Burnside Takes Command, which I think the first one I had not played at all, so I came into it cold. This will be the next one. And here we are. We're back in the Western Theater, and we have kind of gone in a quasi chronological way. I don't know if it shook out that way or just because of the way the titles were released, or it's just my OCD, I don't know, or CDO, that it led us to this, and we are doing it this way. And this Thunder on the Mississippi came out at the absolute perfect time. Serendipity, because we just finished the Fredericksburg campaign in December of 1862, and that leads us right now into April of 1863 with Grant's Vicksburg campaign. Let me just tell you my background with gaming and all of these. Grew up as the only son in a family of three children. I had two older sisters. They were not interested in gaming with me, so I found my brotherhood in Boy Scouts. During my opportunities to go camping and joining the Order of the Arrow and all that, we had fun weekends, and everyone at that time, this would have been the early 80s, they were bringing out things like Risk and Axis and Allies, and then we had some very adventurous people bringing out Avalon Hill titles such as Civilization, and we played games like Junta, and we would play these all night. And we played marathon games of Civilization starting at 8 p.m. and going till the sun rose. It was amazing. And that's where I cut my teeth on that. Fast forward a few years, go off to college, and just like Roger said, your pursuits either go to academia or to girls or to not gaming or whatever. But I took a little hiatus, kind of got back into it with some roommates, and this would have been right about the time of Magic the Gathering coming out, so that kind of got me back into gaming a little bit. And then in early 2000s, I rediscovered heavy duty war games again. At the same time, I was getting into this gaming renaissance with German style and Euro style games. So I found a local group. We were playing every weekend, but I was really kind of itching to get back into something a little heavier. And that's when I discovered the Great Campaign series. I found that my love for war games seems to fit right here in this operational level where it's not quite on the battlefield and yet it's not grand strategic, although I do love both of those equally in different ways. This series just shone on my favorite loves of the American Civil War and the ability to just abstract things on the map a little bit and say, okay, this army is going over to here, and what are the issues, logistical, the supply, and the combat aspects of trying to get from here to there. I discovered that about 2007 or 8. I joined a online competition and I lost my very first game because I had no idea what I was doing, but I was using it as a chance to learn how to play the system. And after that, I continued to, in that same competition, I don't know how, I managed to get all the way to the semifinals, and so I was a quick study on it. I learned some of the aspects of the game. Some people took me aside and explained some of the nuances and things that you want to look out for, and it clicked. There's something about the series that clicks for me, and I have loved it this far. So now going on over 15 years of playing it, and having the opportunity to play with Roger is wonderful. I guess that's a little bit about me. The channel has been going strong. Primary focus of the channel is Great Campaigns, obviously. Combat Commander, which if you are a fan of that series of World War II tactical games, go back and look at that. And also we are doing a series of Commands and Colors, which we're hoping to get back to here pretty soon with one of the newer titles. And so stay tuned for that. But here we are, Roger. 4.5 years later, we are adopting the newest title here. So this is probably a good opportunity for us to explain what this is. I will say from my academic background on this, it literally was, hey, you're learning about the Civil War. Here's what happened in the Western Theater. We're not going to talk too much about the Western Theater, but here's the Western Theater. You had the early stuff in Missouri, right? And then you had Shiloh in 1862, and then 18 months later, Chickamauga, right? And there's this big, oh, by the way, there's Fort Donelson in there. Oh, and Grant did some Vicksburg stuff. Now, some will say that's lost cause influence where they didn't really put much emphasis on Grant's hijinks over there in the West. But this is a wonderful opportunity for me, and I assume for others as well, to learn more about the attack on Jackson, Mississippi, and the lead up to the siege on Vicksburg, and all that stuff. That's more than just a footnote as related to the Eastern Theater. So I'll give you a moment here, Roger. I don't know what kind of scholarship you've been reading on this. I saw an online thread on BGG recently about recommended books related to this and bibliographies. So if there's anything out of the gate that you know of or that you have read, now's your time for Roger's book recommendation.
Oh, wasn't ready for that.
Got him.
There's a lot of very good books on Vicksburg and more coming out. I did read a lot when I was start doing the playtesting, and I've kind of, one of the things I've stopped doing is buying books. I use the library now, so I actually don't have any books on Vicksburg on my bookshelf, but there are several. It was for a long time kind of put on the back burner, I think partly to kind of minimize Grant's importance. They've taken with this game and they've sort of distilled it down to its bare essence. I think one of the reasons why it doesn't get as much attention is there's no big battle here, and that's what we're going to go through. We're going to go through a bunch of series of these basic games of the small battles, and then we're going to start with Port Gibson, and we've got 4 divisions maybe a piece. So these are brigades actually. So there really was no big battle, and I think that kind of people want the big battles. They want the Gettysburgs, the Chickamaugas. That's what gets everybody's attention. So. Don't have any book recommendations, but yeah, there's just a lot of good material, and I would recommend. And books will focus in. Like I read a book strictly on the naval war on the Mississippi River, which was fascinating. I had never, and I wish I could remember what that title was. But that was a fascinating because the Navy was an important part. We're kind of coming in with this title is kind of after the Navy has done its job. We're going to be starting in Bruinsburg. But just a fascinating campaign. So many things to consider about this campaign. Grant almost loses his job, before this in the winter because he's on the west bank of the Mississippi, and it looks like he's a failure, and he almost gets fired. Probably should have been, but he wasn't. Thankfully for us, I think that he wasn't. But got nothing.
Okay.
Cut all that out.
No, that's right. Well, I mean, I will encourage people to take advantage of the comment section there. And if you've got book recommendations, I know Roger would love to hear them as well. I do want to delve into this because we had such an embarrassment of riches in the Eastern Theater. It's like, hey, you can just pick up a Stephen Sears book and just go from there, and you'd have The Landscape Turned Red or Gates of Richmond or whatever. So that was always a good low hanging fruit. I know that there is less prevalence of books written about Vicksburg because who wants to write about, quote, a siege? But all of that leading up to it, I think this entire campaign, and I'm so happy that Joe and Chris have taken this. I remember in early discussions with them, one of the biggest limiting factor was the maps are terrible. They just don't have a lot of maps because it was just this huge abstracted Civil War period map saying, okay, here's Yazoo City, here's Vicksburg, and it's all swamp in between. And they didn't really have good resources, first-hand resources. And I know that is the primary motivator for a lot of this, especially when they're building the games, is they got to give something to Charlie Kibler to design the maps around. And they didn't have a lot of that for this. So between, I know, Chris's penchant for going in there and finding the little nuggets of information in the first-hand resources in the U.S. Army archives about the war between the states here and pulling out all of this teeny tiny detailed information about, oh, this regiment was actually commanded by so-and-so. Putting all of that together, that's a monumental task, and they did this within 2 years. So I want to applaud them right out of the gate for taking what was always just whispered about and asked about. Hey, can't you do something on something else in the West? I know a lot of people want Tullahoma campaign, but for them to whip up a Vicksburg campaign with 11 basic scenarios and a campaign game, so I want to say congratulations right out of the gate for them and for MMP for getting it to press so quickly. That even just as a little aside, I had asked them as you were playtesting this, hey, we'd love to spotlight this as our next one and do a video series as the pre-orders are going, and they said, oh, we're putting it out at WBC and it'll be shipped before you even get started. And I went, well, okay then. So we were just ready to go. We finished up Burnside and we came right into this, so it was perfect.
Yeah, I think with the maps, I think Joe Balakowski just kept grinding away, going through archives, and just kept finding a county map here, a military map over there, and I think he just kept grinding away on this. I think this was something he'd wanted to do, and I think he just sheer will. I think it was Joe Balakowski who found the source material to put these maps together, and I hope that's right. I hope I'm giving the right person the credit. But for people who aren't familiar with GCAW and you're looking at the screens here, the maps are really, especially the Charlie Kibler maps, are just gorgeous, and they just really pop, and they are the major part. That's as the person playing the game, that's what you're playing, is you're playing the map that you have. And it's what I like about the series is if you read a history, it's always like they should have gone from point A to point B and they should have been able to do this right away. And then you actually are now with the map in front of you and you go, how many times have we said you just can't get there from here?
Nope. I want it.
You look,
you see
you see roads everywhere, but you end up always having to backtrack. You always end up having to go, and it's always that one pip, one hex. You just can't.
You will hear the constant heavy sigh that I will probably leave in the edit after we roll the die for movement. We're like, I just need to go one. Oh, exactly. Yeah, we'll circle back here and talk about the new terrain specifically as you're seeing here on the map, but. The common questions are, how big are the hexes on this? One hex is about 2,000 yards or 1.15 miles. And how much do the points represent here? We're going to talk about the Vassal implementation of this, but each one of these manpower points is about 500 men for the infantry, and we're 700 cavalry. We don't have any cavalry in this particular one, but let me take a quick step back here. I'm going to read you the actual main idea for the opening sentence of this module. Thunder on the Mississippi simulates the Civil War campaign in Mississippi from April to July 1863 between Major General Ulysses S. Grant's Army of the Tennessee and Lieutenant General John C. Pemberton's Army of Mississippi. Notice I did not say the Mississippi. It's Army of Mississippi. You'll notice neither one of them are present in this first scenario, but that's okay. We're going to see quite a bit of them as the game goes on. Let's talk about some of the new differences. One, we are in the Western Theater, so there are some basic functions and mechanics that are going to change between what we do when we're playing in the Eastern Theater games. And the biggest one right out of the gate, you can see it here magnified, is the new terrain type. This is Loess, not lane, but just Loess terrain. This is windborne sand that is prevalent on the eastern side of the Mississippi River. It's from just broken down Precambrian soils that get windblown and accumulate, and they make a very rugged. It's soft, which is terrible for marching on, but it also makes ravines, and those ravines get covered over with vegetation growth. So it's very difficult to move these large bodies of armies to and fro, as you can see, if you're not staying on a road or a track. So that has been introduced in this new title. We will address it as it comes up here, but primarily the easiest way for those of us familiar with the system is to think of it as it's very similar to Woods Hexides in that it is a restricted zone of control. So units can just move right past you if you're in the next hex. Also makes attacking more difficult in there, either on the march or assaults. We will also address that as it comes up. And it also makes passing through friendly territories much more difficult, as if they were in a mountain or a woods hex, because it's just so difficult logistically to move these bodies of men around because the sand is so soft. And if you go off-road, then it's just terrible. So we've got Loess, and we also have, as you can see here, we've got bluffs hexes, which are mostly along the river, but there are some here and there that divide. This is the sheer drop-off geologically between this higher ground. We actually have these here in North Florida as well, over near the Apalachicola River, and there's a 200 or 300 foot just drop off where the river, having been there for many millennia, has just been carving its way through the soil and getting deeper and deeper. So it's very canyon like. That means that it's difficult to attack across these or to move across them, and they will have some penalties as well. Is there anything else on the terrain that you can think of that's different?
Those are the two big ones. We obviously have rivers, major rivers. The Mississippi River is unbridgeable. Of course, you don't need to. Those are the two high points, and a lot of swamp terrain.
A lot of swamp, right? Impassable swamp. It's going to be
impassable swamp. Yeah, not the original swamp. Yeah, this is.
It's there for window dressing. You're not going in it. If you are going in it, why would you go in there? And you may not come out of there alive. So yeah, the swamp is a big factor in this particular map. Because this is a Western Theater one, an advent that came up with Battle Above the Clouds was that no longer does the Confederate just win on ties. What they have done now is to balance it out, to add a little bit of vagary to it, is that low ties on ones, twos, and threes will go to the Union, and high ties, 4, 5s, and 6s, will go to the Confederates. So now there's at least an approved 50% chance there for the Union to win a tie on that. So that's going to be different here in this one. Just going through the basic stuff, there was some nice little, hey, this is a little different here, this is different here. A lot of these we will try to address as they come up, but that's where you, the wonderful viewers out there, if we miss something, or if we goof something, or if we just play something as we've always played it just because we're not thinking about it, please point it out so that as we go through these basic scenarios, we won't forget it a second time, and then by the time we get to the campaign game, which is 2 years from now, we
It may be a
we
while,
will
yeah.
be ready because yeah, 11 basic scenarios. I mean, very few of them are going to be something like this one where we can play back to back in one session. And then I was looking at next week's with scenario two. That's 5 turns. That could go multiple sessions for all we know. So I don't know. I'm figuring at least 4 or 5 months just for the basic scenarios. That takes us well into the next year before we can even get thinking about the campaign games. But let's start with the very beginning here. It's a very good place to start. Scenario number one is called the Battle of Port Gibson. We see Port Gibson right here on the map at 5119. Grant's Army of the Tennessee conducted a massive amphibious invasion across the Mississippi River on April 30th, 1863, with 22,000 men, landing at Bruinsburg and marching most of the night until contact was made with a Confederate outpost at the Schaefer House. Here. The Confederates knew that holding Port Gibson was the key to containing Grant's army, so a scattered Confederate force was assembling there. The difficult and unique Loess terrain helped the significantly outnumbered Confederates slow down and mitigate the effects of the Union onslaught. However, the 3-to-1 Union manpower advantage eventually caused the Confederates to retreat northward across Bayou Pierre, which is here. Losses in the battle were about 875 Union and 787 Confederate. We're only using the west map, and I don't even need to move or zoom or pan. As you can see, I've zoomed in a little bit here, so we've got this focal point right on the game map. It is 1 turn, so we're just dealing with the very next day, May 1st of 1863. We do have some special rules for this one. That point that I'm glad they put in there is the manpower advantage. If you look, there are 6 brigades and regiments for the Confederate, and they're all very small. They're all in the 3 and 4 range, and this one's 1, this one's 1, and so this is a delaying action. There are no illusions about the Confederates' job in this one is to try to be speed bumps on the way to one of these victory point locations, because even though it's 1 turn, we've got 8 manpower here, double 8 manpower there. We've got 10, and then McPherson's way back here with 8. So yes, they all have a 3-to-1 margin, 2 to 3 at least. There are just, I mean, I was looking at this last night and I was like, well, so I'm playing the Union first in this first game. I kind of know what I want to do, but it depends on if I get that first initiative and how is Roger going to react, and ultimately what's going to go on. So the special rules on this one, which is kind of nice, is that whoever loses the first initiative, then they will automatically get it as the second initiative. So they are going to guarantee that they are opposed. I go, you go in the first 2 initiatives. Beyond that, then we just roll as normal. So that's going to be, I think, pretty intriguing as to if the Confederates get it out of the first one, what do they do? How do they react? So that's something for Roger to be considering. We have Bowen up here as the overall leader, and he's listed with BOW because that's his name. He can control any and all units. He's not attached to any one, so he is the generic leader for the entire Confederates forces in this scenario, but he's way up there for now. We have the 2 1st Missouri regiments. They are locked until and unless the Confederates win on a 4, double 5, or double 6 initiative. It is quite possible in this series, in this particular playthrough, that they don't get to be released at all. But we've seen a lot of doubles on this one. And then finally, and I just want to give a quick shout out here to Alberto for one, converting all of Charlie Kibler maps into these fine Vassal modules. They are just outstanding. He has pre-prepared everything like the victory point locations. He's got this here, which is Ascamalia Ford, and this is prohibited for crossing by the Union. So they're not going to have you do any sneaking all the way around. They want you to have a confrontation here in the front of this line. That's it for special rules. I've added these victory point locations here just to give us a little visual cue on this. The victory point locations are as such: if a Union unit can get to here or here, 5019 or Ashland, that's 15 points. If they can get only to either 50-20, that's 4, presuming that they don't have it. So they can only get the better of the two of those. So if they're at 15, they can't get double points with the 4. But if they only get to 4, they can get the 4. And then Port Gibson is worth 7 victory points. And then we have +1 and -1 in favor of the Union for inflicting manpower losses. And because this is a one-turner, the victory point margin is very low. The Union only needs 5 victory points, but you have to, I mean, the way I was looking at this, they have to take at least one of these, right? They have to do
Yeah.
something victory point location dependent, and then they can try to offset any losses that they have with inflicting losses on the Confederates. But I think when I was just going through this, Patrick's real 10,000 foot view of this is, well, you got to get somewhere, but you've got 4 activations. You have to choose your battles very specifically. You have to try to maximize those, and you have to get to a location. All the while, your opponent is preventing that, of course. So, what are your thoughts on this one? That since you have experience playtesting it?
It's pretty straightforward. I think this is a great learning scenario for Thunder on the Mississippi because you're going to have to deal with the low strain. Yeah, you've got the numbers. I've got a hope to slow you down, as you say, make a road bump. Hopefully get some good movement off these guys that are in the back, and hope those one manpower units might seem, boy, they're only one manpower, but play testing, getting them released. At least I can remember one of the games I played was, it came down to them not getting released and not having them available to do some blocking action. Obviously, very dice dependent, but I think we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, all one turners are going to be very, very dice heavy, and that's fine. But as you said, it's a perfect introduction. I love that in every one of the titles, the first, and then there's usually one that's very cavalry specific, very light, and it's just like, hey kid, here's the first hit. Have this, enjoy, it's free. So, I mean, this could be all of 10, 15 minutes per play for this one, for you and me.
Probably, yeah.
I mean, because
Yeah.
we do this all day, right?
It's going to come down really to how Los affects the Union's ability to get the attacks off and managing your, as you said, you've only got so many fatigues and everybody starts out exhausted,
Right.
except for, and you've got Logan who's got a ways to go. Yeah, I'm excited about this. I'm excited about this title.
Yeah,
I really am.
Yeah. Well, once again, welcome to everybody. We are now going to get underway. We've chittered on for almost 40 minutes, so thank you
Wow.
for your patience on that one. That's a lot of front loading for this, but
we estimated 20.
yeah, I like to talk. All right.
Oh well, so do I.
Let's get underway. I am taking the Union, so
We do have leader transfers.
we
I
do have
believe.
leader transfers. So I am not going to transfer any leaders.
I think I will bring Bowen down to Tracy because everybody's a 2, right? Yeah,
That's right.
I think I got to do that.
Yep.
That's
Just in case.
That's the weak point in the line.
Yep.
And that's it. So I'll do the initiative. Good luck to you, sir.
Good luck to you as always.
And that's a Union.
Okay, so that will guarantee that you get the follow-up one, but this is what I was looking at and trying to do in my brain, so I'm going to use this as the opportunity to activate the entire 13th Corps. I'm going to add 1 fatigue to them. For those of you who are not familiar with the Vassal modules, if this is the first video you've ever seen, this will look a little different than what you see on the table. So we do not have a separate manpower or fatigue marker for this. That is all included here. So we've got our manpower number here, and we've got the fatigue level 1, which normally would look like a yellow, but you get the idea here. Here's their movement. So McClernand's going to give a +1 to the movement because I'm doing a leader activation. And here we go. It's a 2, so I get a 3 total. Well, that's terrible. Then I guess we're going to do this. So Osterhaus will go there. And that's 1 point. Carr is going to go across the soil to there. And AJ Smith is going to go 1, 2 to there. Clernan will go 1 and 2 to there. I do have 1 left, but there is a penalty for attacking on the march. So I'm going to say that's the end of my march. And now, Roger, you automatically get the second initiative.
And just a reminder, when attacking on the march in Los, there's a +1 movement point penalty.
Right. I would have needed 2
Oh,
points just to get a hasty.
yeah. So right now, you would have on green. You don't have a flank because everything's going to come off.
Boo! I hate Lewis.
I think I'll leave green where he is for now, and I'll bring up Cockrell. He just gets a +1, but he gets great movement.
Oh, Roger. Is it gonna start like this? Is it?
So let's see. I'm playing defense, aren't I? I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7 to there. Initiative. It's mine. Bring up Baldwin. It's his movement. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Initiative. That's yours.
Okay. Well, I guess I should try to take the opportunity here. If I'm gonna shut one down, this seems like the better one to do. So I will attempt an assault using Hovey on green. So I'm going to advance him to 2nd fatigue. And now, because this is attacking into a Loess terrain, there's a +1 added to my assault attempt. So rolling a 5 is not an automatic 6. Only a 6 automatic failure, but you would still evaluate a 6 against his normal capability. He is a 4 command. So basically, I can only succeed on this if I get a 1, 2, or 3. So I got 50-50 shot on this one to at least get 1 unit in, because a 0 is still capable for that 1 unit. So here we go. Here's the assault attempt. It comes off. So now, our first attack of the new series, I'm going to do a +1 for assault, +1 for tactical. I have a 3-to-1 ratio of 10 to 3, so I get a +2 for that ratio. I have artillery covered because I have 4 pieces and you have 1. So that's a +3, which means I believe, even with the lowest terrain, let's double check that because that's new. Combat modifiers here, artillery in lowest, and I've got at least 3 pieces, so that is no
Yeah,
effect.
you're covered.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so I just see 4 up and nothing down. I do not have a flank, as you pointed out, because while I have 5 hexes covered, they are treated like restricted zocs in woods. So I don't have a road into this one, and I don't have a road into that, so my +2 would be reduced to a +0. No flank on that. I just have a +4. Do you concur?
Yep, that's what I see.
All right, here is a +4 attack. Come on, baby. It's a 7. And it's a +3.
+3 on 3.
I think that I have
DR.
it is a DR for you, and I have 10, so it's a double FA for me. So they have done their job, and they're not going anywhere.
2, 3. Whoops, to disorganize. No demoralization. So he's got to go further away by road. Now he's got to go. Second one has to be further away. Does not follow road pike. So he's going to go that way. So he's done his 2. He has 2 remaining if he wants to use it. I think I could go to here, can I not?
You can, because it's
For
still
my
3.
third?
It's still 3 away.
Yeah, I'll stop there because I can't go closer.
Okay.
And the hex is yours.
Okay. Just to point out, because we're keeping it all above board here, Cockrell is still 3 away.
Oh, from the hex you attacked from. Right. Okay. Yeah, I'll move him into Cockrell's hex. Yeah. I was thinking he's moving closer.
Yeah, the big fish hook. Because this one is 1 away, 2 away, and then 3 away, and this is also 3 away.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's, and I can do that. Yeah, that's what I was positioning him, was defending.
That's what I would do. We will not take the hex, and I will roll, and it's just a double F for me, so they are shut down. Next initiative It's mine again. Okay. I will get Logan marching here. Let's see how far he can go. So here's movement +1. That's a very good movement. Thank you. So he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to there. Initiative. Mine again. I'm going to have McClernand activate A.J. Smith and Osterhaus to fatigue level 2. They will both need extended marches. So here's their movement of +1, 6. McClernand is going to transfer to Osterhaus. A.J. Smith's extended march of +1 because he's in all other units in the Union. He is going to flip. And he's going to go 1, 2 to there. McClernand or Osterhaus's extend. He's also going to flip. That's terrible. That is absolute terrible. And he is going to go Zoc to Zoc. Oh, this is restricted Zoc, so I can go there with no problem. It is not Zoc to Zoc, so we'll just go there. And we'll roll the next initiative. It's mine again. I will have Osterhaus go to 3. Here's movement. 6. He can only go Zoc to Zoc. Here is, hopefully we use that 6. Here's extended march. Yay! Okay. So he is also going to go restricted to there. Initiative. Mine again. Well, good gosh. Okay. Dice Fest. And we will take Osterhaus to 4. And he will march. Gets a 5. Here's extended march now of +4. And he's going to lose 1 manpower. And he will occupy Ashland. Initiative. Mine. I will have Carr march. Here's his movement. 6. Here's extended march. 4. He'll go to there. Initiative. Wow. Okay. It's telling me something, Roger. Logan's going to go to 2. And here's movement. 3. Here he is. He does not need an extended march, so he's just going to go to there. And initiative. Mine. Okay. I'll have Carr go to 3. Here's movement. It's 3 and extended march +2. He's going to flip. I'll just go there. And initiative. I think it's broken, Roger. Carr going to go to 4. Movement. Great movement. Here's extended march +4. He's going to lose a manpower and go to there. Initiative. Now, I was pointed out on our latest video, thank you, Eric, that I should never pass to you, Roger, because when I pass to you, you make the most of it. So, I'm going to activate A.J. Smith. He's going to go to 3. Here's movement. Okay, and extended march. It is +2, so he's going to lose a manpower. And he's going to go there. Initiative. There you go. That is double 6s, so your 2 units up here are released.
Yeah, what do I want to try to do first here? Take first Missouri dismounted. +1, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to there. Initiative. Mine. Take the first Missouri dismounted again. There's their movement. 5. Extend. He's okay. 1, 2, 3 to there. Initiative. Yours.
We'll have Logan activate to 3. Here's a movement. 2. And extended march is just +1. He flips. He's going to go there. Initiative. Yours.
Bowen will activate Tracy. There's his movement. Well, nice movement. But all he's going to do is do that. Initiative. Double 4s is mine. First Missouri. One, 2. Initiative. It's yours.
I feel like the prudent thing to do here is try to deprive you of the opportunity to try to do an assault. But let's look at what you have here. You have 1 for assault, 1 for ultimately flank. How am I? You have a negative on. Yeah, so actually, yeah, I think I should try to shut down the capability here. So McPherson is going to. What's his? He's a 5. Let's attempt an assault with Logan. Try to do a spoiling attack here. So I'm going to get a +1 to the assault attempt, and it does not come off. So he's spoiled. Initiative. It's yours.
Hmm. I'll activate Baldwin for movement. There's his movement. That's just wrong. Here's his extend. He's okay. He's going to go 1, 2 to there. Initiative. Yours.
I only have 1 unit left, so I'm going to pass for the moment.
Okay. I'm going to activate Cockerel for movement. Okay. He's got 7 movement points. So he's going to make a prepared attack on Carr. So it's going to be the type's going to be a +1. Tactical actually have a +1. Now the flank, I believe in the initial count, the 6 hexes are all covered. This one is going to come off. This one
Oh,
no, that comes off because that's a river
because it's
hex.
river, right?
So
So +2.
flank's a +2. Now things are going to be negative. It's 3 to 5, so the ratio is going to be a -1. You have 2 pieces of artillery to my 1 piece of artillery in unfortunately clear terrain, which is a -2 for artillery. So I see 4 up and 3 down for a final level +1.
I would concur, yeah.
Okay. Here's the attack roll. It's a 4.
Okay, here's defense. Oh, look at that.
Oh,
Got
wow.
Carr out of
Okay.
there. So it's a +3, not enough for a manpower loss, I don't think, on 5. Nope. So I have to go a minimum of 2, maximum of 4, so I will go 1. And then the only option is farther away by road for 2.
It's a little further than that. And I picked up 2 fatigues. So he's done for the day. And I think, let me see if this is control or occupy. It's occupy. So you're not occupying Port Gibson anymore. Or 5019. But unfortunately, you're blocking the road. Initiative. Double ones. That's yours.
That is mine. I will pass.
Okay, so I guess my only option left is going to be ugly, but I guess I don't even know if this is possible. I'll take Tracy to fatigue 2, and we'll attempt an assault with Bowen on McClernand. It's clear terrain, so there's no Los effect. So it does come off. This is going to be really ugly.
But very cinematic. I mean,
the type is +1. I'll do all the pluses first. I guess mathematically I have all 5 hexes covered. I have all 6 hexes covered.
you do.
3 are going to come off. The swamp hex comes off. That comes off. That comes off. So I have a flank of a +1.
Mm-hmm.
Now things are going to get really ugly because it's 3 to 5, so the ratio is only a -1. Artillery, once again, you have 2 pieces of artillery to my 1, so that's a -1, which is our -2 artillery. And I'm attacking across a bridge for another -2. So I see 2 up. This isn't even possible, is it? And 5 down for a -3 final?
It's always possible. You roll a 6, I roll a 1.
I guess that's true, yeah.
You get me out of there.
Okay, so here we go. Here's my attack roll. It's a -1.
I'm breathing. I just didn't see a 6. I was happy either way. Okay, so there you go.
Is that even possible?
Negative.
Is that even on the card?
-3. Yes, -3 on 3 is 1d.
Yeah, so I lost the manpower. So no effect on you. I'll roll initiative. It's mine. I'm going to pass because I don't think that's possible for you to accomplish anything.
All right. I will pass as well, and we will end our first play with the Union victory of, I think officially now 16 points for 1 manpower loss plus control and occupation of
Union decisive.
Union decisive. Go McClernand, go! So we'll hold our comments on it obviously after you do it. So we're going to take a quick break here.
Sure.
Get a drink of water, pause the video, and we'll come back, reset for game 2, where Roger takes the Union. So hang tight, everybody. And we have returned, reset the game, all good to go. Roger will be taking the Union now. I will take the Confederates. So since you rolled the first initiative on the last one, let's see if it goes pro-Confederate on this one. So good luck in game 2. Here we go.
Good luck to you.
Thank you. It's yours. Double ones.
McClernand will activate Osterhus, Hovey, and A.J. Smith. Actually, not Hovey, just Osterhus and A.J. Smith. Okay, here's their movement. That's what we're talking about. That's what we mean. Well, sir, McClernand will transfer to A.J. Smith. Osterhus is just going to go 1 to there. And McClernand's going to go 1 to there. And you get the next initiative.
I do. Okay. So you're doing that. I think I'm going to take green to fatigue level 1 and march him. So here's +1 to this roll. 6. He's going to go 1, 2, 3 to there. Initiative. Yours.
Okay, we'll take Osterhus, Carr, Hovey, not A.J. Smith. Here's their movement. 5 movements. McClernand will transfer to Osterhus. Here's his extend. He's going to go first. He's going to flip. That's annoying. And he'll make a prepared attack on Tracy. Use up all 5 of his movement points. So the type's a +1. Tactical's a +1. He's lost his ratio. Artillery is 2-1 and Los is a +1. So that means you get the die roll on that if you use your artillery.
Oh, okay. So on even it is used?
On even it is used.
It is used.
So artillery is going to be a -1. So the final is a +1. That's what I see on that.
Okay.
You concur?
I do.
Okay. 5.
Okay. Here's defense. It's +2, so you get me out of there.
2 on a
3.
5 is a DA for me.
I think we will retreat there and there.
He gets 2 fatigues. He's already disorganized. To go into low strain as a 5 is +3. That's going to be, doesn't matter which way they go, really. 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Doesn't matter. Car's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 3, 4, 5. Initiative. Yours. String of initiatives. Needed it. Didn't get it.
Let's see. So let's do. I guess the more pressing issue is surrendering Port Gibson. So green will march to 2. Here's movement. It's 5. So he's going to go 1, 2, yeah, 3 to there. Initiative. Yours.
We'll activate Hovey, Carr, and A.J. Smith with McClelland. They'll all need extend marches. Here's the movement. 7 movement points. McClelland will stay with Hovey. A.J. Smith is going to go first. Here's his extend march. He's okay. He's going to force march. Go to disorganize. Here's his force march roll. It's a 1, so no manpower loss. He picks up another 2. So he could go 9 movement points. To go into Los terrain is 6. 6 to there. He has 3 left. So he'll go 1, 2, 3 to there. I was really hoping he was going to get a little more movement than that. I was really willing to sacrifice manpower for him to get to Port Gibson. Really wanted that to happen. It did not. Cars extend. He's going to go next. He's going to flip to disorganize, which changes what he's going to do. He's just going to go to there. Now Hovey's extend. He's okay. He's going to march with McClelland. They're going to there. Initiative. Yes, okay. McClelland will attempt an attack on green. Hovey. So this is a +1 to this roll. It's a 6, does not come off. Initiative. Mine. Activate AJ Smith for movement. Go 5 hexes. Here's his, or he has 5 movement points. Here's his extend. This is +2. 4. He's okay. He's just going to go to there. Initiative. Mine again. What's more likely, me rolling a 1, 2, or a 3, or a 5 or a 6? Does it? Yeah, I think if I could get him out of there, that puts me in pretty good shape. So, because I only need, yeah, I'll try Hovey. We'll make an assault attempt on green. Ha, comes off this time. So the type's going to be a +1. Tactical's a +1. It's 10-3, so its ratio is a +2. Artillery is 4-1. I have artillery covered. I have 6 hexes covered. 2 are going to come off. This because of the river and this because of the Los. So the flank's a +2.
Mm-hmm.
There is no other modifiers that I see. So it's going to be 1, 2, 4. I see 6 up and none down for a +6 final.
Okay.
7.
Come on, green. Do it. Oh. So +6 on 3. That's you can lose 1 off the top. +6 on 3. Yep. 1 DR, and then another one on the retreat. So let's go 1 down. He's demoralized, fully out. Okay. So let's give you 1 for that. And then he has to go farther away, not by road, into Azok. So he's going to lose another manpower. There you go. That's 2. And then you can just continue on. 3, 4 to there.
Guess Hovey will take the hex, I guess. Initiative. That's yours.
Okay. And we'll activate Baldwin to move. Here's movement +1. 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Initiative. Yours.
Pearson will take Logan. There's his movement. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to there. Initiative. Horse.
Baldwin to 2. Movement. 6. Extended march. He's okay. 1, 2, 3. Initiative. Mine. I'll have Bowen activate Cockerel. Here's movement. It's 6. 1, 2. Here. Initiative. Yours.
McPherson activate Logan. Here's his movement.
They're tired from the previous march.
Would be 5 into Los terrain is +3, so that's +4. I only have 2 movement points, so I have to roll high to get anything, and then I got to move back into Los terrain. He's just going to do a min move to there. Initiative. It's mine. Potentially have 6 to 5 ratio. Take McPherson will take Logan to fatigue 3. Here's their movement. It's 5 movement points. Here's his extend +1. He's okay. He's going to go 1, 5 to there. Initiative. Yours.
Well, this brings us to an interesting stalemate on this one because I don't have anything that can force you out of both. I mean, I would take a crapshoot. This is where, and you'll see me do this a lot, new viewers, where I will look at the situation tactically and go, well, Roger's got 11 points, plus he's got my manpower loss. If we were playing this perhaps in a tournament environment where they were doing this to swap sides and calculate your net points, I think since I won the first game decisively, I would probably just pass at this point because I'm only going to make things worse. I don't think he's going to get the 15 on either one of those with McPherson up there. Possible, so I'm going to let him take a shot at it, but I'm not going to do anything to make my own situation worse point wise. So I will pass, and then if you pass, then you've won as well.
I'll pass.
Yeah, I figured.
I'll call
yeah.
it. I'll
Yeah.
take the W.
Yeah, that's right. So the Union has won it twice, and that will now lead us, as we do in every one of these videos. We will talk about the session, talk about the scenario. Obviously, when we play it over 2 individual videos, the second video will contain the overall thoughts on this one. But this is nice and compact, so we can do it all at one here. I will let you take point on this one, or if you want me to, I will. Either way.
First game, your string of initiatives. I just sat there and watched you just kind of move into the area. The one I needed Baldwin to get where he got right there on his movement roll so that I could drive you out of Port Gibson and then swing him around to help on driving you out of where Bowen is right now. On my second one, I was just playing to get the 7 and the 4 points. That's why I didn't move AJ Smith into where Baldwin is, because that would have given Baldwin a pretty good chance of getting him out of there. It would have been a -2 attack, probably. So not, and if he gets him out of there, then maybe I would be in trouble. So I opted to play it safe and just go for the 11 points. Was how I played it.
Sure. In the first game, clearly it's a one-turn affair, so the impact of the dice is going to be significant not only in movement, but in the initiative strings. I got a wonderful string of initiatives. My opening plan worked almost as well as I wanted to, but I didn't. I'm glad you snapped me back into reality about the lowest terrain because that flank calculation that I was so counting on against green was not even a factor. So I was like, oh, okay. So you have to make it. That's a risk management, risk assessment opportunity there that I was trying to use that as to clear the avenue to Port Gibson. I think that in this one, because of the lowest terrain up here, because you are moving so slow with min moves potentially. I keep hearing Doc Brown in my brain, roads where we're going, we don't need roads. So I wasn't counting on the string of initiatives, but I saw that you were not to be moved out of there through attacking. So I'm happy I had 3 initiatives and 3 activation attempts, so I was able to just move McClernand right to where he wanted to be. He just walked all the way around Bowen, and that was fine. That was 15 points. Everything beyond that is gravy. I will say that on the terrain here with the rivers, it is absolutely a double-edged sword because Bowen, I was certainly not going to attempt to take the 4 points away from you because probably had to take Port Gibson. My goal was if I could get Baldwin down here in this game ahead of AJ Smith or McPherson trying that, I was going to, and some of you, like I'm sure Holger's like, why didn't you try with Baldwin? I would transfer Bowen to Baldwin and then make an attack across the river. But AJ Smith is, I mean, there's a negative ratio. I would have at least a -1 on artillery, maybe more if you got more people in there. The fact that AJ Smith managed to get that good force march roll, in addition to, I mean, it wasn't good. You wanted more, clearly, because you wanted to keep going. But the fact that you got him right to there with the 9 was exactly what you needed. I needed that next initiative or two to try to get Baldwin into place here, but you did what I did. You just went, took the spot with a minimum move, no big deal, and then the attack on green was just your extra points. So when we look at it, I got the 16 decisive, you got the 12. That would, hooray, tournament, like I said, that would be more points for me. But as it stands, I think that the Confederates need to have the the reality check that you're probably going to lose this one. But you never know. I mean, there's always a chance for a 1-6. It depends on a lot of factors, but so much of it is dice luck. And the Union just has the significant manpower advantage right now that they can surround and thump you in a couple of places. And once they get those 2 token forces out of the way, then it's just, once Green and Tracy are out of the way, then it's just a matter of, okay, which one are you going to occupy? And since you only need 5 points, if you get to Port Gibson, great. Or if you get here with a manpower loss, then that wins you the game too. So it's a wonderful little aperitif. It is meant to whet your appetite for more. Obviously, in scenario 2, we're going into 5 turns. So now we're going to have several more layers of consideration on this one. But for me, coming into this absolutely cold and taking the Union right out of the gate, it was very, very pleasant, very enjoyable. It gets me back into that, but it tickles my brain with the lowest. Like, oh, okay, that's a restricted Zoc, so I'll just go around him. I don't care because I'm not gonna suffer manpower losses going from Zoc to Zoc. So I think that's a new avenue for strategy that you could potentially put into the toolkit, as we always remind people.
I've got a summary of the playtest results, and I'm just kind of looking at it going, the CSA wins, and they all have the same comment on the Union movement was awful.
Oh, really? Well, there you go. Yeah, so if they roll in ones, so it's great. Yeah.
Other than that, there are a lot of Union decisive victories and substantive victories. Another comment is getting the Missouri guys, it seems silly with those 2, they're only 1 manpower, but if you can get 2 manpower into Bowen's hex there,
Right.
with
Yeah,
2 pieces of artillery, that almost takes that 15-pointer off the map with a relatively small force, because you got to cross the bridge, and the Union at this point, other than who has artillery, Hovey's the only one that's got any artillery to speak of. So
and that's why I used him right out of the gate. Or I used him right out of the gate because he had the 4-1 versus you.
Yep.
But this is a great little starter scenario, as we would expect. It's scenario number 1, so eases
good
you
learner,
into
I
it.
think, for people, and to learn the Los terrain and to really think through it, because it does affect. You wouldn't think just reading the rule that can't be that big of an effect, but it really does affect your play. Like you said, you lose your flanks just like that. You think, oh, I've got a nice +3. No, you don't.
I had to recalculating, but at the same time, that's where I said, oh, you know what? I'm up here. I'm stuck. And, well, he's clearly not going to move, so I'll just go around him if I can. And I was able to. So, McClernand looks like this strategic genius for just going around inertia. But, this is good starting point. I'm very excited for the whole module, as you said. I'm starting to see the light bulb going on some of these little elements that I will, especially once we get into pontoon bridges, and those are always my bugaboo, as we know in the past. But now that the construction on the fly, they still have to be at fatigue level 0 to do that. So it's taking the opportunity of someone who's next to the river and burning an action and 2 fatigues to potentially, maybe, get the engineering corps to assemble one on the fly. That's kind of nice too. I think that harkens back to what we're used to in 1864 and beyond with the ad hoc entrenchments on the action cycle. So that's going to be kind of neat to see how that plays. I've seen some feedback from people online on social media saying the key is the bridges. So I'm looking forward to experiencing that myself. But Roger, I'll give you the last word on this one, and then we will send them out.
Next session will be is April 30th to May 4th. So we're going to incorporate what we just did into a larger actual mini campaign of 5 turns. So this will play out. They figure it out. So very
Well,
good.
yes, very good, sir. Thank you for a great set of games today. I want to thank everybody for your continued attention and support. We want to welcome you to Thunder on the Mississippi, the Grant's Vicksburg campaign. And if you have any notes or comments, please, that is what that section is for. Right below this video here, go ahead and comment to your heart's desire. And we will, of course, see you here next time. You know how it works now. If this is your first video, keep on coming back. We've got plenty in the playlists for you to go back if you want to watch any of the other campaigns or any of the other series. They are there for you. And I am showing you our current supporters. Thank you very much. You all help keep this channel going just with your donations here and there. Not expected, but absolutely wonderful. They do go to pay all the little incidental costs for the subscriptions and whatnot. So thank you very much to everyone who kicks in for that. But more than anything, if you see this out on social media or if you have a friend that's interested in Vicksburg, tell them that it's going on and they are getting in on the ground floor because of your recommendation. If you tell a friend something, they're more likely to pay attention than if they just saw it somewhere else. So, Roger, I will see you on the road to Vicksburg, as it turns out, and I hope you have a great week.
You too. Bye bye.